We saw Daniel Eisman, Shaw Smith Way get banged up on Friday. Do you have an update on their status?
Yeah, they're both out there today at practice, so it's going to take one day at a time. And, hopefully, we'll see, but hopefully we'll get them out there.
In terms of getting out there, you mean for the game on Friday?
Yep.
What were the nature of their injuries, if you can say?
Right now, we're still working through that, Jamie. We're just hopeful that they'll be out there come Saturday, and they're doing everything they can in this week to be out there ready to go.
And then we saw Brian Green make his return on Saturday or on Friday and play a little left guard. Were you guys just trying to get him back in the rotation a little bit, just kind of before getting him fully set back at center?
Yeah, I mean, Brian's done a good job at practice and working back into it and getting ready to play, and I think he's preparing that way. So it was good to get him back out there. Brian's a really good player, really good person, and is working hard, and just excited to get him back in the mix, and we'll see kind of how it shapes out this week, just to make sure that he's ready to go.
So obviously it's a big game for a lot of reasons. Your first time coaching in the Apple Cup in any regard. How have you guys kind of maintained your focus on, keeping this at one game and not letting the aura of the rivalry take over?
Well, I think, Jamie, the rivalries are built on respect, and we respect their program and we respect how they do it. And we're committed, to our process and what we need to do to win this game. And it started with practice. I thought it was a spirited practice today. I thought guys were flying around. They came out with purpose and intent. And that's what we needed, on the Monday morning. It's a Tuesday practice to us. So, I thought that was good, and we just got to take it, one day at a time. We want to be 1-0, and that's the mindset of this game and this week. And you can only control what we can control. And that was today's practice and making sure we're coming back this afternoon to have great meetings and learning and walkthroughs. So we understand the history of the game. We respect the history of the game, and we're just focused on what this 2021 team needs to be to be 1-0 in the Apple Cup.
Are you guys still kind of working Cade back into the rotation? So I'm mostly Maake on Friday, and then Cade coming in a little bit later.
Yeah, man, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's Cade really getting up to 100%, but also Maake just playing at a really high level and just feeling that he's really excelled during his game reps and has really taken the lead in that position. And those guys are still competing. Cade isn't quite 100% yet, but he's getting really, really close. But it's more what Maake is doing and how he's playing. He's playing at a really high level right now.
And then late in the game on Friday, we saw guys like Ram Stevenson, Lawrence Falatea, Lee Falmo. They got kind of their first run at the college level. Did they do anything that really stood out to you just when you watched the game film?
I think that's what's fun about, really taking care of your business as older guys and getting some of those young guys in there to play. I'm really excited about what Ram's going to do. He's put on 20 pounds since he's been here already in 6 months. He hits the weights hard. He's a smart kid doing everything great off the field. I just saw more in practice leading up to that than you saw during the game. I'm going to be honest with you, Jamie. I mean, sometimes the game film was hard to see. It wasn't, some of the tight shots, you could barely see who was in there. So it was good, but it was been more of a process through seeing those guys throughout weeks of hard work. The biggest thing we tell with those guys is the game is the reward, right? Those guys have worked and earned, those game reps, no matter what the scoreboard said. So I think the future is bright for those three guys and just excited about where they can go on our defensive front.
All right. Our next question is from Colton Clark of the Spokesman Review. Go ahead, Colton.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Good, Colton. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much. Kind of Jamie touched on it, a little bit of the rivalry. Obviously big deal. Lots of guys have played in this, but, staff hasn't. Is there a little bit of a talk between you guys, maybe as a staff, of striking a balance sort of between, not building it up too much, but making sure that kind of the focus of the rivalry is there, if that makes sense?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what we talked about. There's a history and a passion for this game that Coug fans all over the country have. And we respect that and we understand it. And we're excited about representing our team, our university, and every player that's ever came through here. Okay, we understand that and we're excited for that opportunity. Okay, yet at the same time, I think you can put unneeded pressure, understanding the pressures of the past or what's happened in the past. Right. So this is our moment, the 21 team. We're trying to be 1-0, so we understand it. We respect it. We love it. This is a passionate game for our state, our alumni base, and our players are fired up to play in it. But at the end of the day, let's focus on what we can do and what we can control to be 1-0. It isn't about what the past record is. It's about our record trying to be 1-0 after Friday night.
And obviously you want to keep it status quo and 1-0 like you talked about it, but is there a little bit of a different vibe? Can you feel just kind of today, just it being Apple Cup week and the history of the rivalry and everything?
Yeah, I think there's a different vibe, walking off the field of Arizona, and the guys just understanding, what's in front of us and the passion of this game and, how we want to finish the season more than anything. And it's not just with the Apple Cup. We want to finish the season on a high note and prepare ourselves for what potentially could be next. So, it's just, they understand it. They love it. They're ready to compete. But I think that's the core makeup of this team too. They love competing. They love getting out there on the practice field and just making sure we're doing everything we can, especially that senior leadership group, to finish this season the right way.
And so you guys are still in the running for the Pac-12 North. Obviously need to win, need a little help, but kind of considering the sort of chaos of the year, it seems almost fitting. Had you seen that? Had that been discussed at all?
Well, I think the biggest message I had to the guys is, their heads aren't underneath the sand. They hear it, they understand it, but we need to control what we can control. Okay. And that was today's practice and all the things that I've talked about already. So we understand it. We're not going to address it much. We need to take care of our business. And that was having a great practice today. And I thought that's what we did.
And Washington seems to be a little bit set apart. Low scoring margins in some of these games, on one hand, seem to be holding the opponents, on the other, maybe not scoring enough. What seems to sort of be the strength of defense and maybe some of the struggle on offense?
Well, I think defensively, numbers say they're the best in the league, and that's through 11 games, and that's pretty proven. And they're winning up front, and they're very physical up front, and they're very disruptive up front, so and I think we're good up front, so I think we're going to have to match their intensity, their physicality, and some of the things that they do with their schemes, will be unique because we didn't get a chance to play this game last year and see how they would attack us. And I think they're very strong in the secondary, and we're excited about those matchups and the challenges that they will present. But at the same time, we're ready to, play our game and do what we need to do to win it. So I think it's a very good defensive team. I think, schematically, they're very strong and they're very confident. Their players are in what they do. And I think offensively, same thing. They're massive up front. They're big. They're moving people. They had a lot of different pieces coming in and out at tailback and different things and tight ends. So they're a little banged up going into the game. So we'll see who's going to be out there. But they've had opportunities, they really have. And that's kind of their game, be physical in the run game, take their shots down the field and play great defense. That's been their recipe. They're just falling short on a couple games, but it's a good football team.
All right. Any other questions for Jake Dickert? Please raise your hand. Next question is from Brenna Green, Creme TV. Go ahead, Brenna.
Hi, Coach Dickert. Just what is it like coming into this week and knowing that you're still alive for the Pac-12 championship game?
Like I told Colton, I think it's exciting, but we don't control those things. We just control now. But we've ultimately played ourselves into all these situations. And I've kind of talked about that over the last 5 weeks. We didn't start the season exactly how we wanted to, but we stayed the course and we kept believing. And, we're here right now and we're just ready for the moment.
None of the guys on your team have won an Apple Cup, and obviously that it's been a really long time. Just what do you think is kind of the emphasis around there within the team, within the players about this week and how important it is to them?
Yeah, it's important to all of us. It's important to our university, our alumni, our faculty, our staff, our former players. It's important. And we realize that importance, and that's the type of urgency and purpose and intent that we're going to prepare with. But at the end of the day, like I said, we can't control the past. We're trying to be 1-0. Right now, we're going into this game 0-0 in the Apple Cup for the 2021 team. I know it sounds like coach speak a little bit, but that's our mindset. There's no reason to add pressure to it. We know what we need to do. We know the energy and effort that we're going to need to win this game. And it's going to be a 60-minute game, and it's going to be a really physical game. So we got to prepare that way and be ready for the emotion. Control that emotion and use it in a positive direction.
Thank you.
Next question is from Colton Clark with the Spokesman Review. Go ahead, Colton.
Sorry, I just had one more for you. Was Friday a nice little kind of boost for your guys' defensive front after the Oregon game, and anything in particular you liked about kind of their disruptiveness?
Yeah, I thought it was one of our best games interior D-tackle wise. So that was exciting really to see, because we just keep waiting for those guys to keep progressing and keep getting better. I think Coach Cooper has done a really good job, just with all four of those guys, getting those guys on the same page and having to meet with them separately and do different things. So it was positive to see them use their hands a little bit more, shed, make some plays on the interior. I think Christian had his first sack. So those guys were a little bit more disruptive, and we knew we had to really going into that game.